So good morning, good morning. This is the Christmas cake that we made. It was about 3 weeks ago now that we made it. It is very dark, I've noticed. It might have been that I've put a little bit more black treacle in it than I used to. But as you can see, it looks pretty moist. I've been feeding it with a bit of brandy. So we're now ready to go and put the marzipan on. Now this board that I've put it on, I'm actually going to leave it on this board now. So I shall marzipan it on this board and then I shall ice it on this board. So to start with, this is the marzipan I'm using. I'm actually using a white marzipan. They say white, but actually it's cream, not the traditional yellow. Not for any specific reason, I just like the look of it. I actually just prefer the look of it. The other thing you're going to need is a sieve to sieve your icing sugar with, which is what you're going to roll the marzipan out on. I'm going to try using a pizza cutter because obviously I'm going to use the bottom of the tin that we cook the cake in to mark out a template on the marzipan. That'll be the top of the cake, and then I'm going to just measure the sides and then do the sides. So we'll see how we get on. So to start with, we're going to put down a layer of icing sugar, and make sure you've got a nice big area and that it's nice and dry and clean. You don't want any moisture on this surface. So let's start with the icing sugar, and we're just going to put a layer of icing sugar onto this surface using the sieve, because often icing sugar's got lumps in it. So, and you can be fairly generous with this. This is obviously to stop it sticking, so put plenty of this all over. This is the same as if you were doing pastry, then obviously you would do this with flour to stop the flour from sticking to the surface, and then just rub through some of these lumps everywhere. Lovely. That looks pretty good. Right, okay. Part one. Right, so let's crack this open. Now this is a pound of marzipan, or 500 grams of marzipan. And as I said, this is what it looks like. They say it's white, but actually it's more like a sort of creamy colour. Obviously the traditional marzipan is very yellowy browny colour, but I actually prefer the look of this one. And I'm just going to knead it a little bit just to soften it up a little bit before we get going with the rolling pin. So just getting a bit of warmth into it, just making it a little bit more pliable. Lovely. Okay, just soften that off a bit. Right, so here we go. Now as you roll it, just turn it just to make sure that it's not sticking. And as I said, this is exactly the same as you do for pastry of any sort. And nobody's actually going to see this, so don't get too hung up on you know, what it looks like when it goes on the cake, because you're going to be putting icing on top of it, so nobody's really going to see it. So just as I keep turning it, make sure it's not sticking anywhere. And what we're going to do is we're going to get it fairly thin. And I'm probably going to get covered in icing sugar, so I'm just wearing an old t-shirt to do this in, or if you've got a nice apron, put a nice apron on. That's it. And so you don't want it too thick, so try and get it fairly wide spaced. Oh, losing my wedding ring. That looks pretty good actually. Right, so pop your template on. So this is the bottom of my tin. I'm going to put it fairly close to the edge. I might put it right up there actually. And I just suddenly thought, ooh, pizza cutter, that might work quite well. So we'll go all the way around. Around the outside, round the outside, round the outside. Lovely. Lovely job. Right, okay, so lift that off. Right, here comes the tricky bit now. Pull that away. Just ease that back. Now, what I forgot to do is I've got to heat up my jam. So let me do that next. Okay, so in here I've actually heated up a little bit of orange marmalade, or orange jelly I think you call it in the States, or you can actually use apricot jam. I didn't have any apricot jam, so I'm just using, as I said, orange marmalade, and I've just heated it in the microwave so that it's a little bit looser and a little bit warm, and we're going to use this like glue on our cake just to stick the marzipan to it. So move your cake across, voila, and hopefully that's in shot okay. Let's move this forward a little bit. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just paint this all over the cake. And don't worry too much about the lumps and bumps of the marmalade. If you're using marmalade, as I said, if you're using apricot jam, then ideally you want one that's, you know, seedless or ringless, so that it's nice and smooth. So you just pop that on, and at the same time I'm just going to do around the edges as well. And you don't need much, just a couple of tablespoons is more than enough jam or jelly. And as I said, if you don't have apricot or orange, you can always put, you know, whatever flavour you like on. You're not really going to taste it, but traditionally it's always been an orange or a apricot jam that you've used, probably just because of the colour, because of the orangey colour. So that looks pretty good actually. Oh, great. Okay, so that's on there. So now we're going to pop the lid on. Just going to shake some of the icing sugar off. There we go. Lovely. And of course that fits perfectly because it was the same size as the tin that the cake was cooked in. So that is now on there. Lovely. Part one. So now we're going to do the sides. So let's move that out of the way. So what I'm going to do now, and this is complete guesswork on my behalf, I'm just going to trim off the bottom like that. What do we reckon? 1.5, 1.5, so maybe about there. Just going to take that off up to there. And as I said, don't get too hung up on what this looks like, because nobody is actually going to see it when they come to eat the cake, because it is going to be covered with icing. So, and it's a little bit messy, as you can see, but it's nothing that a wet rag won't sort out. So there we go, and pop that round, lovely, around the other side. Okay, and what we can do is grab a pair of scissors. Just going to trim this off a little bit. And around. Lovely. Then we're just going to pinch that together on the sides. Okay. Just to get a bit of a join going between the two parts. Lovely. That's not too bad. Just push that bit in at the bottom. Okay. Now we've got the other side to do. So we're pretty 2/3 done actually. I'll get rid of some of that jam off there. So we're not doing too badly. We've done quite a bit of it. So we've just got this little bit here to do. So let's move the cake out of the way. Bring this forward again. And all the bits you can just squish back in together into a ball. We've got plenty of ice and sugar left, which is going everywhere. But as I said, it's nothing that a wet cloth won't sort out in about 20 minutes or so. So lovely. Get that all back in together into a ball again. And we'll start again. So this time I'm just going for a sort of long sausage shape because that's the sort of shape I want to cover the cake. So I'm just sort of going right out as far as I can go that way. Bring it this way. Lovely. Turn it over. Stop it sticking again. Pop a little bit of ice and sugar on it. And then go out this way. Just going to turn it again because I can feel it just catching a little bit. That's better. Lovely. Okay. Get some ice and sugar on it again. Okay. Just even that off a bit. That looks pretty good to me. Oh, got a bit of a break there, but marzipan's quite forgiving, so you can just squish it together. Okay, lovely. Bring this forward. Move all those bits out the way. Bring the cake back over. That's it. And pop that. And in fact, we've got way too much, but that's not a problem. Which side looks better actually? That's probably a better side actually than that side. So pop that in there. Ooh. That's it, lovely. Lovely jubbly. That's it, and then cut the excess off where you don't need it. And where you're joining again, just give it a bit of a pinch. Join it in on the sides. That's it. And trim it off, trim off the excess where you don't need it. And I said, you're always going to have lumps and bumps, but once you've iced it, nobody is going to see those lumps and bumps. And actually this time I've done the excess at the bottom. And again, I'm using my pizza cutter just to go around the edge and take that off with a bit of luck. Lovely. Okay. So this is where you can just squeeze it together nice and firmly. Make sure there's no gaps. Fold it in on itself. So that's it all finished, and that's all ready to go now to be wrapped again in foil. I should just put the foil over the top, and as I said, I should leave it on this board. I'll give this board a bit of a wipe, and then I shall leave it about a week, and then I shall be doing the icing, the royal icing, and popping the decoration on all ready for Christmas. So that's how to marzipan your Christmas cake, and I hope you found this useful, and I'll see you all soon. Take care everybody, bye.